Hi, it's 6:30 on a Tuesday night, so it's time for What We're Reading. Tonight, I'm very excited to have the Rantellas with me tonight, Scott and Kim. Scott and I were part of the project designing. I was very lucky to be comic relief in the project, designing this beautiful library, the Amy Van Andel branch. But Scott was project manager for Ada Township. He is now vice president of JLL, and he has brought a slideshow for us with some background on the building here. Scott, take it away.
Thanks, Penny. Yeah, so what I'd like to do is go down, have a little trip down memory lane. So hopefully everyone can still see my screen.
Yep.
All right, I'm just going to start, Penny. Thank you.
Okay.
So just real quick, don't look at the numbers, but this was a $12 million budget for a library. Actually, the thoughts of a library started back in 2013. And we finally opened up here in February of 2021. So it was a long time coming. Yes. So the project actually came under budget.
Thanks to Scott, by and large.
Sometimes I had to deliver the bad news, right, Penny?
Oh.
So again, it started back out in 2013, where the community really got involved and created what they called Envision Ada. And one of the focal points that they wanted was in the heart of the village, a hub or gathering place, and expand opportunities for civic buildings. So in June of 2018, we actually had our team assembled, contractors and designers, and we actually started what we call visioning sessions. And this is where we had our building committee, which Penny was part of, right, Penny?
Yeah, I think I'm in one of those pics, but it's nice and small.
I can see you there. And the architects took us through some fun exercises, and really it brought out, what do we want to see the library be? What are some of the amenities?
And it was so great. I thought those visioning sessions were so great because it wasn't just about amenities and but I remember them asking, what do you want people to say when they walk through the doors?
Exactly.
And what feelings do you want? I mean, that was really, I love that it talked about that too, not just, how many doorknobs. And I remember saying that I wanted people to come in the door and say, wow. And they do, Scott, they do.
It was wow. And of course, Penny, just libraries in the last 5 and 10 years have really changed in what they are to the community. It's way different from when Kim and I were going to the library to do research and check out books. It really does serve the community in a lot of different ways now. In September of 2018, on our original site, I don't know if you remember these, Penny, but these were some of the conceptual designs of our 2-story library when we were on that smaller site. Do any of those look familiar?
Yes, especially the one on the top left. I remember that one. I remember how skinny that little space of land was.
Mm-hmm. And then what we did is we actually gravitated towards one of those designs, and we just started playing around with the roof line elevations, what do the windows look like, where's the entrance going to be. So it's just, again, this is all part of the building committee, which was about 15 people, and just a lot of opinions.
Yes. Mostly we got along, though. I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah, we did. But then what happened, Penny, if you remember, the Amway came to us and offered us the site across the street. So the original site was this little strip of land in front of the church, but they offered up this larger site across Headley Street. And after we did a little analysis, we found out that that would be a much better site. It allowed us to have a few more opportunities for the size of the building and configurations. And we actually ended up moving across the street. And once we did that, we almost took 2 steps backwards and started with design options again. Now, you remember some of these. Now, these are all on the new site that we call Site 2.0. So again, just a whole bunch of elevation design ideas. I think everybody kind of gravitated to something different, if I remember right.
I'm not seeing the big glass box. I remember that one.
Well, Penny, I do remember what you said. You wanted to have curves.
I did. Throw me a curve. I think that's what I said.
From those designs, we actually gravitated towards really what we ended up here today. So this was our schematic design, which is pretty close to what we actually built. I mean, we played around a little bit on windows and entryways and whatnot. And that's in February of 2019. And these were the floor plans at that time, which were pretty close to what we actually built out. The only difference was we didn't do the big art center yet, because that's going to be a separate project, but we did do the pre-function lobby for the future art center. But we did have our courtyard, and Penny, is that getting good rave reviews as far as the courtyard from what you've been hearing?
It is phenomenal. Everyone loves it. I mean, it's in the winter. We first, opened us up February, and I always thought, well, it's going to be a great thing for the summer, when sun streams through there. But to sit in the library and look right out that window and feel like inside the library, it is snowing. It feels like Hogwarts ceiling in here. I mean, it was just amazing to see the snow coming in and the fat flakes just right there. It was just gorgeous. But now it's sunny and you get a whole nother version of I mean, I'm looking forward to all the seasons out there. And we have the beautiful statue, the reader, who is amazing and just a focal point from every window of the library. So I can't imagine this library without the courtyard.
So in June of 2019, we actually had our groundbreaking ceremony with the building committee and a lot of the stakeholders from Ada. In September of 2019, Penny, do you know what these are? Do you remember? This is quiz question number 1.
No, is that the reason the outside was orange?
This is since the site was unique, that we still had to have some water retention. And these are the tanks underneath the parking lot that will hold the stormwater and rainwater before it goes out into the storm system.
Scott, I remember telling you that books and water don't mix.
That's true. Come December of 2019, we had our crane out on the site, and we had our masonry up for the elevator and the stairwell, and structural steel started swinging. And by March of 2020, we already had the library enclosed. And there's your orange library, Penny.
People sometimes still come in and say, I couldn't find you guys. I kept looking for the orange building.
And then things really happen fast. Once the building gets enclosed and dried in, a lot of stuff happens inside. And by July of 2020, you can now see the orange building now has a lot of the exterior brick. The windows are in now. The roofing is on. And they're starting to work on some of the site improvements, curbs and sidewalks. And then October of 2020, asphalt is going down. Our brick pavers are going down. And you know what, Penny? There's your curved part of the library that you wanted over there.
I wondered if that was for me.
And then a couple of before and after photos here. So on the left side, this is our snow melt system in the courtyard. Of course, this is all of our tubing on top of insulation boards before the concrete pavers go down. And over here on the right is some of the courtyard furniture, and then the sculpture. It's the what is it called? The reading sculpture.
The reader.
The reader.
Yes.
And then on the bottom here is just an outside picture of the snowmelt system at the entry drive and the book drop. And to the right, you can see it. It actually does work.
It sure does.
And then a couple of miscellaneous photos. So the Ada Library, one of the things we definitely wanted to have was a drive-up book drop. We do have some outdoor seating with our benches along Headley Street. We do have an electrical vehicle charging station with room to add more. And of course, the courtyard, which I think is going to add a lot of opportunities for events in the future for Ada. And then brick pavers on the outside, for some of our donors.
That's right. And those are still available to purchase, I believe.
Correct.
Through Envision Ada, yes.
And then here we are in January 2021. We were basically done. During January, if I remember right, you were moving in all of your collection. Your staff was there training for pretty much the month of January, right?
We were putting books on shelves. A lot of books.
And this here, just to finish off, these are some of the interior photos of when we're all said and done. So here on the left is the children's area. Top right is the main entry. And I think, is that you, Penny, walking in?
Hard to tell. We're going to say
and again,
yes.
In the lower right, again, is the children's area. The next slide here is really some photos of the main staircase where what we call the concierge desk, but you do have staff members there at the front desk there. And there's a photo of the second floor lobby where there is an elevator and the stairs land at. And then on the left, I think that's the adult collection on the left, and over on the right, I think that was the teen collection area with study rooms.
Yep.
Just a couple photos back down in the children's area. And there is a programming room, but I don't think that's open yet, Penny, right?
Not quite. We have a children's librarian who's itching to do a story time in there, but probably, hopefully, the fall.
And just some general photos of some of the furniture that we have. We had some great furniture provided by both Herman Miller and Steelcase through Custer. And then we had finally a tutor room on the left. That was something new that I didn't see in some of the other libraries in KDL. But on the right, your podcast room.
That's right.
And of course, Kim and I got to be models for a day.
And you can reserve that room right now if you go to kdl.org/podcast.
And thanks, Penny, for allowing me to share some photos of the project. It was an exciting project. It's a great addition to Ada Township.
Thanks. It was a lot of fun. And I see Chris Wilson commented in the comments here that he loves seeing the memories too. And what we have now is fabulous. And I agree 100%. Yay. So can you see us now, Mr. Scott? Excellent. So thanks for showing us that. That was so fun. It's nice to see what we almost had. And I'm the luckiest librarian in the world to work in this beautiful building. And I just think we did an amazing job. And thanks to you as well, Scott, for getting us done and under budget. And you brought your wife, Kim, not to give him all the credit, Kim. Kim is the Director of Development and Marketing for I Understand. Tell me what I Understand is all about.
I Understand is a nonprofit that provides compassionate care for those affected by suicide and or mental or brain health issues. So as you can imagine, during the pandemic right now and with everything going on, the outreach for our resources, programming, all of those things has just grown exponentially. So keeping us busy. And then I would like to mention, since we're doing a book talk, our founder, Bonnie Woodrick, last year released a book, I Understand Pain, Love, and Healing. And KDL does carry this book, so you can find it there. And it's just a great resource for anybody who has been affected by suicide. But it's also just a great story of hope and healing, going from that place of grief to finding your passion. And then she created I Understand. So all of that information is in the book, which is really quite inspiring.
Oh, what a worthwhile project. I hear he's doing something with silos for barns now, but look what you're doing. You are
I go from building a library to grain bins on farms. But every project's unique and it's fun. Don't get me wrong.
Oh.
But Kim is definitely the reader of us too. So I'll share just a few that I've read here in the past.
Okay, you have to let me ask my question, Scott, because this is my show. We get to the part where I say, okay, what are you reading?
All right. Okay. What I am reading it's called Naked Came the Manatee.
Oh my goodness. I have never heard that in my life.
It's a real fun read, but what's interesting about it is it's 13 of the top authors from Florida, and they each write their own chapter in this story that has a little bit of mobsters, intrigue, and it's all about a famous political person and a head in a cryogenic box. I'll leave it at that. But I enjoyed it because each chapter had its own little feel because every author writes differently.
Right.
And so it was just a fun read based in South Florida over on Miami and Key Biscayne side.
Okay. So you're not a big reader though, are you, Scott?
No, I'm probably like a lot of guys. I'll read the magazines, sports. But I do read occasional history books, whether it's about presidents and stuff like that. That's what intrigues me is history. But Kim is the one that will just read anything.
But I think that is fantastic, and I don't want to shame anyone for what they do or do not read. We have a beautiful space at Amy Van Andel Library and a lot of Kent District libraries where you can come in and grab a magazine and sit in comfy chair by the fire, and that's fabulous. Or just come and do some work. Scott's here a lot, or has been here a lot, using our fabulous study rooms to get work done. So that's fantastic. So, but Kim, tell me something that you have loved that you read recently.
So I just recently finished. I actually had the honor of helping with KDL's Literary Libations last year when it went virtual, and I actually had a part-time position out of the service center for a couple of months. And one of the authors, Alex Kotlowitz, was one of my favorite speakers at Literary Libations. And I finally had the opportunity to read his book. I'm sorry, I'm not getting this quite right. There we go.
Nope,
and American Summer was so inspiring. And he truly did an incredible job writing about what families go through dealing with the gun violence on the west and south sides of Chicago. And what I didn't realize until I started reading it, all these stories are relevant to the summer of 2013. And when I started thinking about it, that was the same summer that our oldest son spent in Chicago for an internship. So, when you find a connection like that, as I'm reading these stories throughout the summer, I kept thinking about what Court's experiences were in Chicago in relative to what some of these families and some of these boys were going through, just relative to where they were born and where their houses are and just all the things that they deal with on a daily basis. So I really enjoyed this and I highly recommend it for anyone that's just looking for some inspiring stories. Alex did an incredible job with the storytelling.
See, and you guys did such a great job on Literary Libations. It was virtual and still so fabulous. I read the other authors. Is it Long Winding River?
By Liz Moore?
Yes.
Yes.
That was so fabulous. That also told a very dark story of drug abuse and
Yes.
coming out of that. So that was a really good literary libations. Thank you for your part in that, Kat.
Well, it was my pleasure. It was so much fun to work on that. So really enjoyed it.
I'm going to sneak one in my show tonight real quick because it's one of those times for me when I'm supposed to be reading something, but I'm really kind of reading something else because I couldn't resist. I've got a book club coming up, and if you watched my show last time, you saw that I started reading a book for book club, and I snuck because one of my holds that I was waiting for on Overdrive came in, and I don't know if you've heard of this one yet. Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds.
Yes.
It's one of them with a lot of holds on it. Are you on hold for it yet, Kim?
I do have it on hold. I have not read it yet.
I am halfway through, and it's one of those books that I just want to get back to. It's like, can I read it? Can I read a little bit while I wait for Scott and Kim to join me on the show? It's so interesting. It's a historical fiction about the Dust Bowl and what we then called Okies, which they were the other because all these places where the topsoil was being blown away into the sky and coming down on these people, which was horrendous. And the way Kristen Hanna writes about it, you can actually feel it and feel how it's in their lungs and in everything. And the kids are hacking up. They gave the kids gas masks.
Oh.
Yes, because they were just getting so sick. And this family that this story is about escaped, just some of them, the younger ones. But what they went to was California, they were thinking a land of milk and honey, but it was really people who were saying, ooh, Okies, get them away. We don't want you here. You're coming in. You're taking our health resources. You're taking all of our, all these things. You're dirty. You have lice. I mean, that's what they landed in, and wages just going down and down, and costs going up. So you always hear about the Great Depression era, and I saw Ken Burns' show about country music, and they talked a little bit about Merle Haggard being an Okie, those kind of things.
Yeah.
But this really gives you a great picture of a family's experience, and it's just riveting. And she's very good at getting to the emotional heart of a family, and talking about that too, as she did with another of her core books. It's a core book, so I have to promote it, The Nightingale.
The Nightingale.
Yes.
All
So
right, you two need to have your own little show because you're recognizing each other's books.
While you're waiting for The Four Winds, read this one.
Okay.
Because it's one of her best. Well, thank you. It was so much fun having you both here. I want to tell everybody to come and join me next week at 6:30 because I've got Rick Weist to talk about plants and what to read if you want to be a good gardener. So that's going to be exciting. Scott and Kim, it was wonderful to see you. I hope I see you around the Ada Library and you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor there, Scott.
We'll see
We'll
you
definitely
soon.
be there.
Good night, everybody.